One of the reasons for using these debug or these environment variables is allow us to read values from the system without having to store potentially dangerous or protected information in our repository. So the os.get function will allow us to default, and we provide a default secret key. I'm going to get rid of the default just so we're not storing any information inside of our code base. So I'm going to go open up a new tab, and I'm just going to type in Django secret key, and we can, there's a tool here called mini web tool / Django secret key maker, and that will allow us to create a new secret key that will give us a value for a secret key that we can use. So I'm going to export secret key in my .bashrc file, and I'm going to pop that into a string. And now we should read from there instead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a second secret key on Heroku. So if I go into Heroku, use the tool belt, I can say Heroku config : set secret key, secret underscore key, and I'll pop my new key in there. And the secret key is what's used for things like hashing passwords and stuff like that. So, okay, so now our secret key has been set on both our development environment and our production environment, or Heroku. So if I do git add now, and I can go ahead and say git add Django underscore to do / settings.py, then I can do a commit, and I can say remove default secret key. Unfortunately, the problem with this here is even once I do a push, because Git will always store a snapshot of the code at any given point. Once we put the code in there, it never leaves. It might not be present in the latest version, but once we start looking at log histories, we can see them. And we'll take a look at that in a moment. But the first thing we need to notice here is if I do python 3 manage.py run server, we have an error here. Because one thing we forgot to do is when we first set our development environment, we set it just by running the export command. And the export command works immediately. However, the bashrc file is only run every time the bash terminal is open. So if we put a value in there, then we need to refresh that. So what we can do is we can either do dot or source. I'm going to use source, so we'll say source space tilde / .bashrc, and this will reload our terminal with our bashrc file for us. And then if I go ahead and run using run server command again, then we should be good to go. And as we can see, the push that we've done now has finished building. And if we take a look, we can see that we've removed this secret key, but we can see that the secret key still is referenced in GitHub. So it's always good practice to never use any kind of password or any kind of secret tokens or strings or values inside of your code base. For example, if I go back here to an earlier commit as well, I'll see this inside of the settings.py file. So we should always remove these before pushing any code to version control, because once it's in there, it's always in there.